Continue. All right. Let's see if it's recording. Hopefully, yes, it is.
I think it is
Well,
because I heard the message.
right. So, Matteo, it's been a long time since I've seen you. You've done incredible things in the meantime. I
Thank you.
love the Japanese. Um, they
The
were
journaling
narrow
cards.
cards. They were wonderful. The butterfly cards are wonderful. I'm going to link to all that under
Thank
our
you.
video. And I think you're doing very well. Like you seem to be more engaged in it. Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I realized that my, let's say, creativity came back as soon as I stepped away from Etsy. That took a lot of time for me to take care of the digital files and make sure that everything was always in place. And I was more worried in presenting something digital than in creating something material. So as soon as I stepped away from Etsy, I'm back to the table and I have started creating again a lot of stuff that I do love. And I'm happy that you have been watching my videos. So thank you.
Well, the thing that I liked a lot um, was the figures on the new cards, the butterfly, the 20 days of butterflies, that finally gets to
Oh,
the
this
butterfly.
one. Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you've got it right there. Um, if you wouldn't mind
Thanks. I have a
showing,
lot of stuff here.
okay, if you wouldn't mind showing the figures on it, like, could you hold it up and
Yeah,
just
sure.
there I don't know if you can see it or not, but he has these beautiful women figures that have these words across their eyes and the butterflies, and they're marvelous. And I was thinking
But
when I watched them, Tim Holtz's figures, which everybody has the same figure in a way. It's like, but you
mhm.
use different figures, but it's the same figure. So this to me was an incredible, like Vogue, you know. Um,
Thank you. Well, I was quite unsure about the figures that I was going to use. Yesterday, I saw a video of a girl from Australia. Her name is Lee, and she made this project along with me. Well, she made in 2 videos what I made in 20 videos. So she was a little bit quicker than me, but she used whatever she had on the table. She followed my, let's say, suggestion. Um, but she really used birds and not these models. They were just random people that she must got from newspaper. And honestly, the result that she achieved was amazing. And I honestly regretted a little bit that I used these people, but at the end, I'm very happy with the result
no,
anyway.
no, no.
Yeah.
I think they're terrific. I think it's very important because there's a history in journaling online where people use figures, they
Mhm.
use figures, but most of the figures are Tim Holtz figures
Yeah.
or people
Yes.
connected with Tim Holtz, and they're black
Hmm.
and white. And these were like, I know, I can't remember his name now, but it's Tim something or something Waltz or something like that. This guy who used to do for Vogue, photographs for Vogue.
Oh.
And he very much made his own, like he would have the models out in the country standing. I mean, he did kind of a collage with the models.
Yeah.
And he was a very famous Vogue photographer. And to
Hmm.
me, this was just as good as those images
Well,
because,
actually, I think that every picture that I used comes from Vogue because that is
oh,
what I had
really?
available.
Okay.
Yes. So every girl on this book probably comes from Vogue. Yes.
Vogue Italia.
Vogue Italia, yes. The Italian, because I have a friend of mine who's a photographer. She has a subscription to Vogue magazine, so she gifts me the old issues, and so I fussy cut people, I fussy cut whatever catches my eye, and yeah, they come from Vogue.
Yeah, they're very, I mean, well, I guessed it. I'm
Mhm.
brilliant. I guessed it.
Yes,
I guessed it. And then I
I
love the
have no
butterfly.
secrets.
You have no secrets because I guessed it.
Yes.
You also moved into a new house. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, I moved to a new house. Everything is so much better here. I have a garden. I have more space to play. I don't actually have a personal actual studio. But I'm so happy with all of the things that I can do here in this little studio that I share with my husband, or honestly, I prefer working in the living room.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah,
I had
it's
to finally
better.
organize myself because I had books piled up really high. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's talk about your new work. I'm glad you got off Etsy. That made you more productive. But how do you
Yes.
feel about it? How do you feel about uh, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about your new work? How do you feel about the Japanese cards and
Oh,
all?
these Japanese cars, you're referring to these, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, these ones. Well, since the AI came out, I started seeing some kind of pattern in people that create stuff with AI. And the problem that I have is that when I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, I want to step away from it and do something a little bit different. So I decided to choose a theme, and to me, the Japanese drawings and paintings are absolutely fascinating. So I decided to play with images like these. And on the back, as you probably already see, I have left some lines to journal because for me, writing is the most important thing. And that's how come I do make journals where there is probably almost always empty spaces, empty pages, rather than over decorated stuff, because I want people to write. And the handwriting, it is something that we take for granted, but that it is actually going to get lost quite soon. And so I think that handwriting something, a thought, a wish, whatever, is very important. And these are things that we can keep. And I have designed these according to the size of these wooden boxes that I have
Oh
bought.
yes, I forgot about the wooden boxes. So they're a
Yes,
way of keeping the pages or the
yes,
cards together.
yes, exactly. So I just made them according to the size of these. So in my case, they fit perfectly into this box. And I also give, when I sell a digital kit, I also give the PDF file, but the JPEG ones. So just in case someone wants to print maybe just one picture or to enlarge it or shrink it according to the project that they have on their table. So you're not stuck with the measurement that you find on a PDF file that you will never be able to resize with a JPEG file. You can do it. You can actually do it. Yes. So these are beautiful to me. I know I shouldn't say this because I made these, but the design is magical to me and romantic too. Yeah.
So the design, where did you do it in AI or did you get actual artists, Japanese
I
artists?
I asked the EI to give me some Japanese traditional design, but when it comes to AI, there's always something that has to be taken care of. and I'm sorry to say this, but I see many people that take pictures generated from AI and they sell it without a second thought. I always have to choose the best pictures, first of all. And if the AI makes a mistake, I always have to conceal it or crop it or disguise it in some way. There is always some work to do behind the scenes. And for example, the AI, one of the most common mistakes is that it gives you people with too many fingers, for example. So you have a beautiful lady, and if you look at the detail, she has seven fingers, or a child with three fingers. And honestly, I would never have a picture like that in my collection. Even if the face is beautiful, even if the dress is amazing, there are the details that have to be addressed.
Well, I found just so this is a conversation that can be helpful to other people. We both use Mid-Journey,
Hmm.
and made, I found in Mid-Journey, I want to use my own images. Okay.
Hmm.
Like I have a library full of public domain images, right?
Hmm.
So I want to bring the image into Midjourney. And for a while, the book that I made that I put on print on demand in Amazon, right? I took a Japanese print that was in the public domain and then I interpreted it. Then I gave commands to interpret it
Yeah.
and it worked beautifully.
Hmm.
I I got the first book done, went in and said to me, took a week off, okay,
Ah,
and
okay.
went back into Midjourney. I couldn't do that anymore. I brought in the images that I wanted, and it started giving me descriptions of the images, written words, description. And
Oh,
the imagine command, I
yeah.
didn't want that. I wanted want a bird, a certain kind of bird that uses jewels and glass, and the bowerbird it's called. So
Hmm.
the bowerbird builds its nest to attract the female bird, and he does this incredible thing. He makes like a a bower, it looks like a boat almost comes up, and then on the floor is all this glass and everything else. So I
Yeah.
had this
Yeah.
image of a bowerbird, and then I wanted to do, and then I had to use imagine. I couldn't once again bring my own image in. And what they did was anime. They kept giving me
Yeah.
domo, use anime. Like I'm not a teenager. I don't
Yeah.
want to use anime. I don't want to make cards like I don't want to make images like what do you call it? Uh
Cartoon.
Cartoon, right? And
Yeah.
anime and like sci-fi figures, or
And that is the same,
comic book figures. So it
that's the
gets to be
same
very
problem. Yes, that's the
frustrating
same
because
problem that I had when I made these Japanese cards because it kept giving me people, and I think you have these, and if you realize there is only one human figure that I kept, because all the others were too cartoonish, they were very modern, and it was so fake and so out of place that I discarded tens and tens and tens of images. And to collect, I don't know how many these are, probably 50, now I can't remember. I made more than 100 and I had to discard more than the half of it. And many times Midjourney gets very frustrating when you want to give it a command because you have a specific thing in your mind and there's no way you can make it understand what you're actually aiming at. And let alone for me, that I'm not even a native speaker. So for me, the search for words is even more difficult. But I do my best with what I have, and here are the cards. Yeah, so I understand you.
Okay, we've beaten Mid-Journey into the ground, which we should have done because they should be consistent. For the people that use, they should be consistent. If I want to use my own images and I want to interpret them and in different ways, then I should be allowed to do that. They shouldn't keep reinventing Domo or an app.
You're right. The problem is that AI, I think that it receives so many prompts that probably it struggles to realize and to understand what you're actually looking for. For example, I wanted to make these I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it,
wow. Yeah, I can see it.
these
What a
postcards.
fantastic image.
And I wanted to make vintage postcards, but with a hint of color, like we used to have them back in the days when where we were stepping away almost from black and white. But to achieve this result, I had to ask the AI numerous times what to do with these images. Only a hint of pastel pink. I had to give a prompt that was as long as a novel. So yeah.
Well, that I am also having problems. I mean, I want to turn out stitch stories. I want to turn out a series of books with images for people to collage and rip up
Mhm.
and use. And I want to use my own images and I want to interpret them. And I don't want anime and I don't want sci-fi, and they
Mhm.
keep giving me the Domo app, and I don't really want the Domo app. So that's what precipitated your move to this house? Just more space, or
Well, there's more space, and we had several problems with our previous home because of the environment, because of the neighbors, because of the neighborhood. So we had this special occasion, and we ran away without a second thought. And sometimes it seems a little bit too much because this home is very big, but I don't complain. So I like it. I love
well,
it.
I saw your peony come up that you had given up on, and then you said the peony you thought was dead, and then it came up. Remember in your garden, there is like a little plant that you thought was dead?
Oh, the peony. Yes,
Right,
yes,
the
because
peony.
I bought the roots uh and I knew that I had to wait because it was too early. But then I kept waiting and waiting and nothing was happening. And probably it was last week, 5 days ago, I saw a little teeny tiny sprout
Yeah, you
coming
took a
from.
picture of it.
Yes, and I thought, okay, finally. But I have planted many things. I have two very special roses, and today I have planted a magnolia, and I have azalea, and I have I think you call it lily of the valley.
Yes.
And so I have many flowers, and I'm waiting for the weather to get a little better just to enjoy the colors and the flowers.
I wanted you to know that on Etsy, before you closed down your shop, I had bought some of your bird digitals. They were,
Oh, okay.
oh, I think they were fantastic. I Do you have
I have
any?
one here.
Yes. Oh, they are fantastic. They
Thank you.
are
And,
fantastic.
and I know that this is nothing new because many people do it, but I have realized what an amazing foundation to print pictures when you use a page of an old book. I had many old books that were ready to be discarded and to be thrown away because they were basically falling apart. And I thought, let me save a couple of pages. And so I started printing these ones. And also, this is a this is a vocabulary that belonged to my father, and it is probably from the 50s, I guess. And I took some of the decent pages and I used them as a foundation just to print flowers. And I love the result. I really do. I know it's simple. I know it's nothing special, nothing out of this world, but to me the result is very pleasant. It's beautiful.
Then do you frame them yourself
Yeah.
or you frame
Yes,
them yourself?
yes, yes, yeah. I framed them myself because we have a new shop here in town, which is from the USA actually. It's called Action. And basically, they sell anything you may need for your home, for the garden, for art, for whatever you need, it's there. And the prices are super cheap. So maybe a frame with a very thick glass and very good wood, you can pay maybe €6 for this. And in another place, you would pay probably 15. So it's a good thing to go there and to have it very close to home. Yeah.
The other thing is you've started using a stamp that says Arteo mixed media on
Oh,
it. And I
yes,
think
I
that's very,
always,
you're almost branding your own shop. I think
this one,
yes, yes, yes.
I have always used it and I always put this stamp at the end of my books because I want them to be, well, I said almost always. Oh, yes, this one too. I always put it here. Yeah.
And I like the cover that looks like leather. That's also very interesting. That's you're holding it up right now, so I thought
Yeah.
that I would mention that cover that you make that you've used quite a bit, as a matter of fact.
Yes, I always use these kind of cover because it's very fun to make. It's easy to make. And I've made a video for this about the altered book, my latest altered book. And the result to me is amazing, also for the fact that this is basically a brown paper bag that we all have. So you don't have to go look for something fancy or something specific. You can just take a brown paper bag, you just crumple it, and then you color it with what you have on the table, and you glue it. And this is the result. So, yeah.
So is that book just a journal or is there something in it?
This is a journal, but there are, well, in this one in particular, I only added here and there some of my faux stamps.
Now you've
And
done that
there,
before. You've done that before where you, oh, that's fabulous. Yeah.
yes, and I also used these black and white botanical images that
Mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm.
dispersed along the books. But I always want to, like I said before, I always want to put lines so that one can journal more easily. And the paper is obviously tea-dyed because I love tea-dyeing paper. Yeah.
Now, when you then do you print the black and white images directly onto the paper?
Yeah. Yes, I print them on the paper, then I tea dye the entire batch of paper, And then when
After
I
you print
create,
the images or before
yes,
you print after?
yes, yes. When the paper goes into the tea, it has already been printed. Yes.
Okay, the thing that's masterful is you're a masterful binder. I'm always afraid you're not playing around. I always keep trying different bindings, but you are a masterful binder. In your altered books, in your
Thank
journals, like
you.
you just showed, the blue journal,
Well,
you
to me, bookbinding is one of the most relaxing and beautiful things to do. If you were here and you gave me 65 signatures to stitch, I would do it. I would do it. I love bookbinding. I really do.
Oh,
And
that was so funny. I saw those horses and I went to a
yeah.
consignment store and there were the horses old illustrations and I thought,
Oh,
"Oh, I should get these for Matteo and make copies for both of us." And so I waited until they were half price. So of course, when I went back there waiting for them to be half price, they were gone.
they
You
were
know, they were
gone.
old
Yeah, it always happens.
illustrations. They were old
Yes.
illustrations, and somebody saw them and thought, "Oh, wow," you know.
And these ones, actually, like you were saying before, these are the public domain
Right,
illustration.
right,
Yes,
right.
it's them. And I want to tell you one thing. I want to tell you one thing very, very important for me. Because now that the project of the 77 butterflies is finished, I had to think of something else. And so on April the 1st, I'm going to play with this, which is what I called the book of texture paste, because every single page is made with a background with texture paste, and I hope that you can see it.
I can.
So
Is
it's
it a stencil,
yes, yes,
Mateo?
I have used texture paste with stencil, and every single page has one of these figures of these women, and they are my personal tribute to Fernando Botero, which was, I think he was from Colombia, and he always used to paint these big figures, very round shapes. And back in the days when he was interviewed and he was asked, "Why do you paint only fat people?" He replied, "I don't paint fat people, I paint volumes." And so I decided to give his art a little tribute. And so I created with the AI all of these images on these stenciled background, which has a lot of texture based.
Mateo, they are fantastic.
You like them? Thank
Oh, I
you.
love them. And you did that binding again.
Oh yes, this is the
Yes,
Slipknot book
yes.
binding. I am a fan of the Coptic binding, and I remember that when I started with the Coptic binding, I made a couple of things and then I basically forgot about it until Laurie Marie Jenkins, she showed it in one of her videos. So I went back to the Coptic binding, but I realized that people find it tricky or complicated or difficult. So I needed something simpler. And so this is the book binding that at the end is quite similar because you have two braids and then you can decorate the threads. But it's simple, it's quick, beautiful. And again, this is another way for me to use the Amazon envelopes that I have a ton of. I have thousands of them all over the house, but that paper is so thick and resistant, and I want to use it as a foundation for whatever I do.
Okay, I didn't understand. You had the paper around the house. What kind of paper was it?
It is the Amazon envelopes.
Oh, yes.
Mm-mm.
Envelopes. You use the envelopes themselves.
Yes,
But
I
that's a
mean,
big
even
envelope.
even these cards are made with an Amazon envelopes with a picture glued here and lined paper glued on the back, and in the middle there is the Amazon envelope.
I don't use Amazon envelopes, but I use here, Matteo, here is my envelope where
Oh,
I use this and I put vintage postcards in them. I don't know if you
oh
can
wow.
see,
Yes,
but
now I can see it.
yeah. So then I use envelopes as well, but in a different way. But anyway, so this whole thing is made with envelopes. I'll just show you this briefly. I haven't put anything online for a while, but
Mhm.
this whole
Is
thing is
that
made.
is that scrapbook paper? How did you decorate it?
I decorated it on vellum. I
Oh,
printed
okay.
on vellum. This is stars. Stars. This is Taurus, which is my sign, and then a map.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I did. Oh, this paper was gifted to me by
That's beautiful.
the art librarian, the conservation librarian. And so I used up all the little small pages. But anyway, I do envelopes as well. So I
You see,
wanted,
I have no secrets. I have you do the same things that I do. So,
but differently. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yes,
it's a completely different interpretation.
absolutely. And this is what it is great about it.
What kind of envelopes do you use? Like the big manila envelopes or
No, the sturdy one. If you have 1 second, I open a drawer and I'll show you.
please?
It is this one.
Oh, where did those are shipping envelopes?
Yes. Yes, this
So
is what
you
we
just
have
take
here.
the envelope that comes to you in shipping and use
Hmm.
it. How can you buy? You can't buy those envelopes, can you?
I don't think you can buy those, but I have so many people that know me and that keep these envelopes for me. And so I collect them and I have tons and tons. And so I made the 77 butterflies and then I made the book of texture paste. And I was sure that this was going um, to put a limit to my supply, but it keeps growing. So, but that's okay. I always have paper to play with.
Well, I saved the Amazon envelope. Okay, I've started. I saved the Amazon envelope, but for me, the Amazon envelopes that I get, I cut them up and made them like took it, opened it. It's
Mhm.
almost something I can open. Yours aren't like that. They're like hard.
Yes, they are thicker, a lot thicker
Right,
and
right.
sturdier. Yeah.
I don't get those.
And this is the funny thing because I have another friend in the USA that told me the same thing that you don't have these kind of envelopes there.
No, and the envelopes I have, they're just paper. They're just really, I can cut them in half, and I thought about using them. So what I have started using is it's right here, is I go and bother the paint store and
Mhm.
I say, do you have any discarded wallpaper books?
Oh,
So I'm not done with one yet, but I take the discarded wallpaper book and it's vinyl. So
Oh, okay.
I paint it with um, gesso, and
Oh,
then I
okay.
can use it to do what I want to do
Mhm.
in journaling. So,
I have a very, very big, because it's huge, a sample book of wallpaper. And I think that I used a piece of that wallpaper to make the cover of that little booklet that I sent you probably a couple of years ago.
yeah.
That is wallpaper that I used for the cover.
Well, I use the whole book. I mean, I want to go back to doing something bigger. Well, I'll show you. It's like I don't think I can move it. It's got my
It's
hat.
heavy.
Yeah, it's like it's this thing. It you know,
Yes.
and
It's like the
I
one that I
just
have.
I took
Oh,
it and I gessoed the paper.
oh,
You see,
wow.
I gessoed the paper. I'm in the process of somewhere I used this book. I don't know what, but anyway, this is I just and this is the Amazon packing, and you would not be able to do anything with it. I mean, you can do things with it. You would be able to do things with it, but it's not very compared to your Amazon packing. You can
Mm,
tell it's not. It has gesso on it,
yes.
so it's. But anyway, this is what I'm working on right now. Getting gesso on this Amazon. This I'm going to use it as a book. Some of it,
Yes, it's going to be a tome.
yes. I don't think I'm gonna show. I don't know if I ever show it or what, but oh, anyway, that's my new project to make a whole book of. Um, so as you can see, the Amazon envelopes are not the same as yours.
No, they're very different. Very,
They're
very
padded
different.
too. They look like they have some kind of padding in them. Yours don't
Mm,
have this padding in them. They're just
no.
nice shipping
Yeah.
envelope.
Yes. And then when you buy something bigger, you get an Amazon bag, a brown paper bag, and that paper is super sturdy. And when I have to crumple it, I always have to wet it a little bit, because otherwise the paper is too thick to be crumpled like a regular paper.
And then do you use like a medium to put it down, the crumpled
Yes,
paper?
I mean this one, uh, well, obviously in camera, it's super thicker in comparison to the other one. And this is an Amazon envelope. And obviously the texture is stronger, but the feel is totally different. When you touch this, you may be tricked and think that it is actual leather. This one is totally different to the touch. So,
But then you take the wrinkle thing and glue it on.
yes, I let it wrinkle and then I dry brush with some gold paint, which is my favorite.
But how do you attach it to your book,
Mod Podge.
Mod Podge? You and Lori Marie are Mod Podge fanatics. You know,
Yes,
she moved to Costa Rica and she
mhm.
can't do any of the things that because of the climate. She can't do
Yes,
anything.
she told me that the humidity is too high in Mod Podge. It has to dry in a drier area. But I wouldn't do anything without Mod Podge. I mean, I love it. I do it to make everything. Everything. I love the result. I love the texture that it has. So I am a fan of Mod Podge. Even though to have Mod Podge here, I only have to buy it on Amazon again because it's not available in shops. There is a shop that sells hobby supplies, but the prices are totally unaffordable. So I prefer going on Amazon and save some money.
Well, I have friends who want to leave Zuckerberg, who want to leave Amazon because of the oligarchs behind Trump at his
Mhm,
inauguration. And we all want to leave these people, but
mhm.
they're such large stores where you buy from them that you
Yeah.
can't. Uh, and the free shipping, if you're a member,
Hmm.
it's fantastic. And the next couple of days, you get your package, and
Exactly.
and I know, and so people have complained about they won't let unions join them, and they
Hmm.
complained about them. Jeff Bezos, I guess. I don't know if he still owns Amazon or not, but
Yes.
he does. So, the Washington Post and Amazon, and it's really, do you stop? It's a dilemma.
Yes, I mean, from an ethical point of view, there are 1 million things that should be changed and should be done on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, every one of us wants to have our life a little easier. And if I pay 25 euros to have a little jar of Mod Podge, knowing that if I go to a shop, it's going to cost me 36 or 37, that's kind of obvious that I'm going to buy the 25 € one.
But the thing is, can you buy from Michael's?
We don't have
Right.
it.
No, but it's online. I wonder if they ship to you. It's
No, no.
michaels.com.
No, Michael's probably ships only in the USA. We don't have anything like Michael's.
And Hobby Lobby is, of course, their politics are really bad. That's
We
why
don't we
you
don't
can't
have a
do
blog.
anything. Maybe Walmart.
No, and this is my problem. I keep on seeing people on YouTube buying from Hobby Lobby and Walmart, and then you have the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And in these places, you have basically anything, any kind of thing available. And we don't have places like that. We don't. There are small places where you don't have a huge choice and you have high prices. Yeah. I wish I had a Dollar Tree or a Hobby Lobby next to my home. I would probably be there every day.
I know. But it's all people won't buy from Hobby Lobby. I had walked in with a friend and she
Mhm.
said, "Oh, these people, they're a lot of them are religious and they don't believe in abortion and all this, and Hobby Lobby doesn't believe in it." And she was so annoyed. She likes to go there and buy, but she's annoyed at buying there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we're in a bind. We're supporting all these people with all these political views that they force on
Mhm.
us, that we buy because it's cheap or they're on sale, and we can
Yes, I mean, it's like buying on Temu.
oh
It's the
yes,
same thing.
yes. But
It is the same thing. You know that if you buy something on Temu, you're going to pay 1/10 of the same price for the same thing somewhere else. So,
but they make it sound like Timu all is made by slave labor, but actually, excuse me,
bless you.
thank you. Actually, the China with Timu has a growing middle class.
Mhm.
They work at this. They might not get
Yes.
paid very much, but they work at it. It's not done by the Uyghurs. The Uyghurs
Mhm.
might be farming or making food for them,
Yeah.
but and being brainwashed and all that. But the truth of the matter is that Timur, they have a burgeoning, which is why they keep complaining that China is the United States' biggest competition because they have a
Yes.
burgeoning middle class. You know,
Yes.
they make this stuff and they sell it for nothing.
True. And I mean, well, when it comes to food, here everything is totally different because we have food everywhere and we always talk about food. But then, I mean, you always have to give yourself the chance to decide what to do. And if you want to really see what is behind the scenes of every single item that we buy, that would be a never-ending story.
I was walking with in London. My aunt lives in the suburbs, and I was walking. I used to walk with these guys in the morning, who took their dogs, and they would talk about Italy or someplace that they had been, which is what I love about Europe. You know, you go to Europe, you can go anywhere in 5 minutes or less, by our standards. You know, our standards, it takes hours and hours to cross the country and all this. But
Mhm.
you know, you can hop on a plane and be in Germany in 1 hour, and you can hop a plane and be in Italy in 1 hour from London or Heathrow, which is down today. But anyway, I walked with these guys every morning because I'm used to walking my dogs in the morning.
Mhm.
And they were talking to me about Italy and being the racist and British that they are. They told me, oh, yes, they have wonderful food, but they use human waste to make it. And I thought it didn't make me want to eat Italian after, you know, they were just like, I don't know. I can't imagine that.
Well, that's not true, obviously. I don't
Right.
know where they heard this story, but obviously that's not true.
But they're British. The French probably grow cheese from, you know, they love buying this stuff, with the French, but they have nasty things to say about them.
Well, there has always been some kind of, let's say, competition between French people and Italians, but especially when it comes to wine and cheese, because we still have to decide who's got the best cheese and who's got the best wine. So it's not clear, but everybody has their own good cheese and good wine, and so we're happy with it.
Right. Well, anyway, okay, we're gonna wind up. It's really good to talk to you. I'm really appreciate that you met with me this morning. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
that I actually made it on time. It was difficult. I made it
It
on
was
time.
perfect. Perfect timing.
Is there anything else you would like to show? I love those women, the volume, the women with
Oh
the
yes,
volume. I
the
love
book
that.
of texture paste is going to be online in April, starting April 1st. It's going to be two videos a week, and it's going to be a playful time with stencil and texture paste. And that's all, Anadora. I thank you so very much for having me in your
But
home and on your.
is there anything else on your table that you haven't shown that you might want to show?
Well, these are the only things that I am going crazy about. These are the tea bags that I print.
Now, how do you print tea bag?
I put a piece of tape here and I put
Okay,
it
print it
on the piece
on
of
printed
paper as
paper.
a carrier. Yes.
Okay.
And then the very last thing that I published today on my YouTube channel are obviously, you know that I am a fan of faux stamps. And so. I
Now,
have
how do you
published.
make those full stamps?
Yes, yes. I make the full stamps and then I cut them with the, how would you call it? With the die cut. Yeah.
Or you can use the scissors too, the not
You can
craft
use the
scissors,
scissors,
but
you can use
the
also the sewing machine.
exactly, exactly.
And
And
I
this
have made many, 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 many.
now talk about selling online. That talk about
Well, I always leave my email address and in the description of the videos because I don't have a platform to sell online. So if somebody's interested, they send me an email and then they PayPal me the cost of what they're asking for, which is always €1.50 or €2 and nothing more than that.
but they do contact you and you do mail out. Do you mail out everywhere in every country or just in Italy?
Well, the material stuff I only ship in Italy now because of the tariffs and because of the cost of the shipment, which is now super high. But when it comes to digital, obviously it's just an email and that's all.
Have you thought of? I was thinking that Dragonfly, 49 Dragonfly does this. She has a web page and she shows all the stuff on her web page. And people
Well,
automatically come to the web page and download or buy. They can buy and then it's download.
yes, but here that would be illegal because I should have a registration for commerce to open an actual website and sell stuff through a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that would be an official e-commerce. So I should have a registration, pay taxes, pay my pension, which is obviously a huge amount of money. But I mean, when I closed Etsy, I sold just a few. I mean, it's more difficult for me to sell stuff, even though if I receive some mails here and there, but it's okay. I am okay with it. My plan is not to make money. I just want to have fun. And the thing that amazes me the most is that people have fun watching the videos and doing something of the things that I propose on my channel, and this makes me very happy, very much
Well,
happy.
I have a lot of fun watching, so I just wanted you to know that. Plus, I love you, and I'm so glad that when I see you in the morning
Thank you.
on the table, same with Lori Marie. When I see her, it's like, I feel like old friends.
Well, I'm going to be on YouTube for a very long time this year because I have many, many projects. So you will see me quite often, I would say.
Well, I get up at 3:45 now. I used to get up earlier than that. So when I get up, you are making your videos, and I always watch first thing in the morning. I mean, I have
Oh.
coffee, I make coffee, I get ready, but then I always turn on and it comes up in my
Hmm.
playlist. And
Yeah.
so I watch it. So thank you very much, Matteo.
Thank you, Annadora. Thank you very, very much. Grazie.
I hope that we can talk again soon. I
Absolutely. Anytime.
love the volume. I think it's so like Italian. It's so
Yeah.
it's so what do you call it? It's even though it looks like modern women, it looks like
Hmm.
something in a landscape where you would have the fat woman, the
Hmm.
larger woman cooking.
Yes.
This thing looks like Frida Kahlo, the
Yeah.
one who's
Oh,
crying
yes.
or
Yes.
sneezing, and the turban. I love it. I love
You're
it.
going to be surprised. Stay tuned because I have many surprises coming.
Okay, that's my friend Matteo in Italy. And thank you very much. And all those people that come and I see you in my algorithm, please subscribe and say a like.
Thank
So
you so
there are
very
always
much.
people and uh, subscribe to Mateo's channel and my channel and let's have fun.
Yes. Thank you, Annadora.
Okay, bye. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.